The Formal Gamer, podcasts for those with exquisite taste.
Welcome to Season 6 of The Formal Gamer. The University of Eolus has produced some peculiar pupils, but none more peculiar than Goros, Farvan, and Sotru. They face an assignment unlike any other: to uncover the secrets of class and discover the origins of the dragon cults. Will they pass or fail? Will they live or die?
Hi guys, welcome to episode 23 of season 10 of the Formal Gamer podcast. As always, Facebook, Twitter and all those things. But more important than any of that is that you enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Formal Gamer podcast. I'm here with Mira again.
Hello, it's just me and the DM again.
Yes. So, right, Raven, we left you. You had started to see a few glitches in the Matrix, as it were. You had unwillingly been moving along with Una, and you had opened a door into what was a large sort of cavernous hallway that was going out in front of you.
Yeah, like a dwarven kind of
exactly
area.
Like a big dwarven corridor.
And I was excited because I thought we might get to see dwarfs, but...
Yeah, but you stepped in and then it became a field with hay bales.
Yes.
Una came in, said she'd done this challenge before. You were looking for a key somewhere within there that would open a door and lead you on to the next room.
Right.
You weren't happy. You told Una just went off and was like, oh, I've done this before, you just need to find the key in the hay bale. She was pushing people out the way, searching through, using, powers to just look through, find the key. And she found it. You weren't happy. You were like, no, you've brought me along. I've agreed, albeit under duress, to come with you and help you to give you a new look on this. Do it my way. So you closed the door and then you reopened it. And the room was not reset. And it looked like, for some reason, an immense amount of time had passed. The hay bales were sort of laying sodden on the floor. They're all mulchy. And things it just didn't look like it fitted.
Okay.
Una stands there. She goes in to have a look around. Do you go in after her?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you know that now that door's open, you can't get back out, into the real world. The way the antechamber works with that sort of airlock sort of mechanism. She walks out. She goes, well, this is interesting. It seems like the rooms are breaking down. This shouldn't be. This hasn't happened before. I don't think it's anything we've done. Not you and I, anyway. This is ponderous. So
she just threw the key back in the room?
She just lobbed it in, yeah.
Is the key still in there?
The key is, yes.
Okay.
And it will be, if you go look for it, it's in a similar place to where she is.
I'm going to pick it up, and I guess, does the key look aged as well?
It looks like it's been lying in the grass. Like, you have to, move all the grass around and stuff.
Yeah.
You find it, but it's really overgrown in that area.
Well, I don't really see the challenge in this room unless it's some kind of time shift. So let's see if this key still opens this door. And then we're going to try and open the door.
The next one?
The next one on.
Okay, yeah, you shut that one and you go on to the door on the way over the other side of the field. The key works, it fits in the lock, click, and it opens. And Una's standing there and she's looking around. And she hasn't moved, she hasn't followed you.
Okay.
She's standing there and she's saying, I think I know what might be happening. Come here, my dear, come here.
Oh, could I not just kind of sneak out the door now and run away?
Ooh, yeah, you probably could. You could probably get into the antechamber. The way the time works, though, you think that you get into the antechamber, if she wanted to run after you, she probably could.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the door open.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna slowly walk over to her and say, Go on, you have a theory?
So Una's standing there, and she can see that, because I would imagine you don't look happy, do you?
Well, I'm deceiving her. Sorry, that was my phone. She's now silenced. I'm gonna pretend I'm interested. I'm basically stalling for time and walking towards her slowly. So if I think she's gonna go, I need to kill you, then I'll be like,
I need to what?
kill you. What did you?
Roll me a bluff then.
That is gonna be. I think that's gonna work. That's a 15 deception.
In total for deception.
So I'm just moseying over, like, oh yeah, well, what do you think? Like, what's your story? Like, what are you thinking? Like, if she's gonna say anything like blood sacrifice, I'm just gonna book it.
She turns to you and she says, so, my dear, I had a few plans to get into the center of this tomb. I tried with your friends. I tried sending them, or seeing if their good intentions, their willingness to help others would get them in here. And, well, to be honest, I was waiting outside for quite some time, and the way time works in here, they should have had more than enough time to make progress, and they didn't. I didn't really trust that. So I went to one of my other plans. As I'm sure you are aware, I have maybe appropriated, let's say, the village down at the bottom of the mountain.
Yes,
the persons within.
Yes, you have taken hostages of innocent families.
You must know that I mean them no harm. This is all for the
Oh,
greater
I'm sure the children are not going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives.
Well,
I'm sure there's no discernible harm ripping families away from their harvests and their animals. But carry on.
These are just pawns in a greater play, these people.
Oh, as spoken by a true benevolent king.
You don't quite understand what's going on here. This, my dear, this labyrinth of rooms, never-ending cyclical rooms, is an obstruction. And it is an obstruction not to a tomb of a dead ancient mage. Torfidus, I'm sure you've heard of him.
That's the treasure we seek, the treasure of Torfidus.
Well, treasure there might be, but not in the form that you think. This is not a tomb.
Oh, are you kidding me? I've come all the way here to make my name and find the largest treasure of the land. And there's no treasure, it's not a tomb? Oh. And Raven turns around and starts, like, trudging to the other door. The one going back, out. I'm like, could you close that door? Because I'm done. I heard about the treasure, the crisps of Quentin. I shall go and seek them. The crisps.
The crisps of Quentin.
The holy crisps of Quentin.
Is that like
the second best known legendary treasure of all of Scar?
Not the crisps of McCoy.
No. They were not the real McCoy.
Yeah. Anyway, terrible jokes aside. So Una turns to you and she says, "No, this is not a tomb. This is a prison. Torfidus was never killed by the mages."
So this is a prison break gig? That's not my specialty. I am a burglar.
I wanted two things when I came into this tomb. I wanted to gain access and confront Torfidus, and I wanted to find the body or what has happened to my father.
Your father?
Indeed. Let me tell you a little story. I grew up as a little girl in the forest. I was on my own. My mother would come and visit every month. She left me here. She was obsessed with this mage in the mountain, as she called it. She left me here to fend myself. She taught me the basic skills of survival. She taught me the basic skills of magic.
Did she tell you how, if it's really cold, to do a poo and put your hands on it to keep them warm?
I mean, like, A, that's not a thing. And B, way to go to undermine a big reveal. Yeah, so she ignores that.
So she taught you the ways of the wood as a small little girl in the forest. How old were you? Where was your father?
My father, I've never met my father. Again, whenever my mum talked about my father, it was always linked to this mage in the mountains. She left me here and she was obsessed with me learning. She taught me to seek out those that would be susceptible or had indeed given themselves over to the worship of that old dragon mage, that being Torfidus, the man who brought terror to the whole of Helenscar over 100-year period, the rise and fall of the dragons. Ultimately, the fight between the High Mage Council and him, they were, if you look at the history books, successful. But in truth, they were not. They hold him here as a prisoner in an eternal battle, frozen in time, at the centre of this labyrinth of rooms, this facility of obstruction. My mother was one of these watchers. She was one of the High Mage Council. She ostracized herself to the forests, moving from the hillsides here through the whole valley every month, searching for people, searching for any remnants of the dragon cultists. She searched through the villages and people. She became not a celebrity, but
I mean, she
source
sounds
of
like
fear.
she's a witch hunter, a witch finder, if you will, and she became infamous for abandoning a child to the forest in search of her passion project.
No, she hid me here because no one was to know. Even the rest of the High Mage Council, they were not to know about me.
Is this because, Una, you are the daughter of Torfidus, the prisoner of this tomb?
No, but that would be quite a heel turn. No, but
Una, you must understand, as a parent, that is irresponsible way to treat a young girl. She should have cared for you, and she took her mission. Maybe she's a workaholic, your mommy. Where is she now?
she was killed by the villagers. Ultimately, over the years. Obviously, you stick around for like 300 years, people know you're a witch. A witch she was not. She was a high mage. But to them, she was an evil witch that would come and take people away from the villages. She would take them to the mountain and they would never be seen again. When your mum's like that, you don't really have a chance in life.
I agree. I do feel sorry for your story, Una, but can't you see that you're just repeating the abuse that was leveled to you? Your mother,
No.
she took villagers, and now what have you done? You've taken 400 off the villagers. You're ruining little lives, and you're visiting the same pains. Now, you have to tell me.
What's it all for, ultimately? This man ruined my life. This mage in the mountain.
What did the mage do to your mommy?
She was never there for me.
Well, that's your mother's...
Ultimately, she was there and she was lynched by the people of these towns. They don't appreciate the effort that she put in to keeping them safe. They're both as bad as each other.
I do not want to undermine or belittle your hurt, because I feel for you. I am an empathetic woman. And sister, I am sorry for your losses. However, do you maybe feel if this guy Torfidus has been locked in this prison all these ages, perhaps he's receiving a punishment? So by going to rout him out, surely that's dangerous.
He's receiving no punishment. He is frozen in time. He's frozen in time at the moment that he...
How do you even know all this? The rest of the whole world thinks he's dead. But
My
little
mum
Una-
worked in this labyrinth of rooms.
To be
She
fair,
worked
your
in
mama
this
doesn't
facility.
sound that stable.
Well,
You know,
she narrows her eyes at you at this point.
Uh-oh. Some mamas, they mean their best, but they're a little bit cuckoo. You know what I'm saying? Your mama maybe have been a crazy lady.
My mum was a wonderful woman, but she was obsessed with her work. She was obsessed with this mage in the mountain, and she ruined my life. What chance in life did I have with a mum that wasn't there, that left me to fend for myself? A mum that was infamous in the local area. She was strung up and burned in front of me.
Seems excessive.
Well,
A
the
double
people around
execution,
here
huh?
don't like that.
Una, you...
She's partly to blame for this, and I have not forgiven her for that. Her or my father, who I never met. I want two things from this tomb. I want the head of Torfidus, and I want to find out what happened to my father. And if he's alive, I want his head too.
Sounds like you might get a 2-for-1 deal. What color are Torfidus' eyes? Is he
What kind of question is that?
Is he kind of like a misty creature that can sing people in and out? Because it seems to me you're pretty magical. You're like extra magic, Una. If your mama was a witch and your father was Torfidus, you may be killing your own papa. Now, that's all great.
My father was not Torfidus. Well, to my knowledge, was not Torfidus.
See, now you're thinking, Una. I'm going to leave you with that thought, and I'm going to wish you luck. I think you should do what you need to do. I need to go and find the crisps of Quentin. As you've now revealed to me, there is no treasure in this tomb, and I'd like to thank you for your day.
Oh, there's a treasure. If we take Torfidus down, he was one of the greatest mages that have ever walked this land. His infamy is unbounding. He was the single most powerful mage. He could control dragons. You think there isn't product of value in there with him, locked in there in his eternal battle with the mages of the High Council?
Well,
There are things of worth that are incalculable in there.
well,
A mere piece of cloth from his cloak. A mere piece of metal from his breastplate. Breastplate? What the fuck is a breastplate?
his holy
His
breastplate.
blessed breastplate. Oh wow, that's a tongue twister. A mere piece of metal from his blessed breastplate would be able to be melted down to the most powerful of alchemical weapons.
Now, Una, I do believe there will
Do you
be...
not want to be the first woman to enter this tomb in 400 years? Think of the fame that would bring you and your little criminal family.
And my little criminal family? Oh, you're going to play it that way, girl. Okay, so Raven is going to have like a consider and take a moment to ponder.
Mm-hmm.
And she's really torn between potential magical riches.
I mean,
And
you would know that everyone knows the story of Torfidus. This is like a mythical thing. This, you know, like King Arthur and the Stone?
yes,
That's the kind of level. This is like,
yeah.
this guy had a sword that he'd taken out of a stone or whatever, you know, sword in the stone type thing.
Okay.
That's the level of this.
So yeah,
This
so
kind of stuff.
culturally everybody knows about this. So one of Raven's flaws is when she sees something valuable, all she can think about is how to steal it.
Right.
But that's kind of tempered with the fact that she's now seen some fairly, nonsensical, brutal killings. Villagers have been affected. Rambo's been affected.
So I'm trying to think. You have said to her, you've killed people, haven't you, in here?
Yeah.
Right.
And she said, but it doesn't matter. They're different pawns. She's called villagers pawns. So Raven's going to be like...
So she turns to you and says, you're worried about the people that you've seen me kill. That man back in the execution room, you're worried about their lives, aren't you? You're worried about what I've done. You consider me a murderer.
I consider you a deeply passionate woman who may have lost her way in a...
She puts her arms out. Think about what we're standing in. Does that make sense to you? We were in a corridor. We're now in a field. We're now moved, like a year later? These are rooms. Yes, they are real people in the rooms. But these rooms are reset. The people in this facility, my mum was part of these archmages. These people are brought back to life. The rooms are reset. Death in here is death, yes. But people are reanimated. They are brought back to how they were. These rooms run over and over and over again. That man in that execution hall, I have killed him hundreds of times. And he has come back. His death means nothing. The death of the people in the villages down there means nothing if Torfidus is allowed to live.
Okay.
Ultimately, he will escape. The mages were losing their battle.
Now, I don't know if you would be studying ever, the philosophies or the psychologies, but, if there's such a thing as maybe people that don't understand the suffering of others in their aim, in passions, and I feel they're a sociopath or maybe psychopaths, and I feel our path do not follow. Una, I am the greatest thief that you will ever see, but every time you kill a man, who's to say he doesn't feel the pain, the suffering, and the same fear? Now, I think the best thing we could do is leave this place, go get a nice cool glass of ale, and talk about how we could reset learn from this point. If you want to go up against the greatest mage that ever lived, that was able to bring down all the dragons in this land, we're gonna need more firepower. This is not the job I was booked for.
I have more access to more power than you would consider feasible.
Well, I mean, sure, that's why you kind of forced me into helping you out.
I could force you, my dear. I could.
I mean, no need to get kinky now.
She turns to you and she looks at you and she says,
Can I try and persuade her to...
I have no intention... Oh, sorry, can you try and...
Can I try and persuade her to stop being completely fucking mental? And...
You can try, yeah, roll it.
Okay, I'm just going to say, there is another way. Your mother, she messed you up. Maybe she didn't take care of you as she should have done. But there is another way, Una. We don't have to bring this... The guy's already in prison. He's been punished enough. And I'm going to see if I can just talk her around her deathly plans. Okay, let's go for this one. Oh, okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. So it's 15 on the dice plus... Not 0.
15.
Yeah.
My mother was burned at the stake in front of me. This man has suffered no penalty. He has been frozen. To him, the battle is still ongoing. His ultimate victory was about to happen, and he's frozen in time.
So you think you're going
What have the mages done? What are the people that my mum worked with? They've left him here.
Una, you've been trying for many years. You're not going to find the center of this maze. This is not for you.
We have started something. The more people that are in here, the more that the people who worked with my mum when she was here, they are losing control. The labyrinth is failing. We are gonna get access to the actual main area. This tomb, and she does the little parentheses things with her fingers. This tomb of Torfidus. We will progress forward. We will get there. I have spent my whole life preparing for this. My whole life. I have access. I am a different person than I was. And she whips off her scarf and you see a brutal wound across her neck. And it's a wound that you would think would be absolutely fatal to a normal person. And this ties in with the fact that you remember that the other guys who told you that you had heard that Una had been killed by the watchmen and the guards from down in the town and had risen from the dead. She says, the Una that I once was, the girl that was brought up by my mother who was never here, by my father I never saw, she is no more. I am beyond that. I have surpassed it. I will surpass even Torfidus in there. And she says, I am done with you. And I need you to roll a d20, please. And I need you to make a charisma saving roll.
You're going to use the red dice. It's not bad. Charisma, I have no pluses. So that's going to be a flat 16.
A flat 16.
So
that will not be high enough, I'm afraid. Now, you've heard the tales of... I don't think you were there. No, in fact, you definitely weren't there. You've heard the tales of where Goros and Sotru were put to sleep by Una, and you find yourself transfixed in place. You can see Una coming close to you, and you can just hear in the background of your ears, you can just hear this wonderful singing voice, and you see Una walk towards you, look at you, and then it's almost like you can still hear the singing, but you can see her lips moving as she's talking, and she says to you, I don't mean you or anyone else any harm here, but I will make my way to Torfidus, and I will issue him the judgment that he deserves. These weak-minded mages, like my mother, like my father, like the council, they haven't done their job, and I will have to do it for them. And with that, she walks backwards out the room, looking at you, turns around and exits the room and closes the door behind her. You find yourself transfixed, and the moment that the door closes, you find yourself able suddenly to move again.
Okay. I'm going to fucking run to the want the door the other way back.
Okay.
I'm
You would know already because you've tested this that door probably won't open. But you can
I'm
run
gonna
there and
try the
it.
door.
You can try the door.
Yeah.
Okay, you run back, and the door doesn't open.
Oh. Okay, so then I am going to wait like a good... I'm actually going to have a short rest.
Yeah.
And then I actually could even stay there like for a long rest
Yeah. Okay.
and wait. Hopefully she is like on her rampage. And then I'm going to try and open the backward door again. I know it probably won't open.
Yep. No, it doesn't. But you wait here for a short. She doesn't reappear. You make your way around. You have a look. There aren't any more doors. There aren't any people. It's just like a almost dead room. And you go down for. Do you go to sleep in the short rest?
Yeah. And I'm going to have a long rest.
You have a long rest. Okay. You have a long rest, and when you wake up, everything is as it was. You've not been disturbed or anything like that. You go over to the door which Una exited.
Yeah.
You open it, and you see...
Please tell me she's not in there.
You don't see Una. Weirdly, and this will fit in from the way that the labyrinth of rooms seems to be breaking down or going wrong, you see the outside area where that fire was.
Oh. Back to the start.
You look there, but time appears to have passed, and you can see doing the little... you would know because you came down this way, the little pathway that led into this little sort of room, the outside chamber, outside like the entrance area, snow, and you would think that time has passed there.
Is there still a fire? Do I see all
The
the...
fire is long, long gone.
Are there any creatures out there?
Nothing there.
Oh no, all our friends.
So by stepping out here,
Yeah.
would you move out there?
I'm going to go out and see if they left
You
a
would know that
note.
this. Sorry.
They might have left a note.
No, there is no note, but you can see a couple of footprints going to and from where that snow was. Mm-hmm. Roll me an insight. In fact, investigation, sorry.
Okay. So I rolled the red one again for 12 with my plus of 3, 15.
15. You look at the footprints in the snow. They go out to the snow. They don't go further out they don't actually go outside, but they go just a couple of meters into the snow, and then you see them come straight back again towards the door.
Do they look like frog footprints?
They don't look like frog footprints, but they do look like Eladrin-sized shoes.
Okay.
And they do look like something that perhaps a mage that you might have travelled with might have been wearing.
Okay. All right then.
And with that, what's your plan? Are you going to go back into the tomb, or are you going to make your way out to bigger and better things in the wider world?
I mean, ideally, I'd like to go out and scout around and see if there's anything left by any of our friends. Because it probably looks like Farvin just went and had a look, but didn't look properly. And then I'd like to go back into the tomb and warn the others that basically Una may be about to unleash the greatest mage that ever lived, who may also be her dad.
Right, okay. Yeah, okay. Right, okay, well, with that, we will pause it there, and I will go and try and find the other gentleman of this podcast.
Okay, good luck.
Hello again, everyone. Well, I've got all of our people in the room at the moment.
Hello.
Sit.
Hello.
Now,
That's not Ruth's voice.
Consistency.
we aren't all in the same place at the moment. Raven, you are off doing your own thing. Mm-hmm. And that's gone, well, how that's gone.
That's gone that way.
Yeah. Sotru,
Yes.
Arden,
Oh.
Yes.
Angoras,
Sit.
you were speaking to Wellborn.
Oh. He was about to tell us a story.
Yes, that's right. So can you recount, so last episode that you guys were in, he had revealed to you that this was not actually a tomb, it was a prison, basically.
A shocking revelation.
Well, not necessarily a prison, but it was just it was a battle frozen in time. And this had been basically the High Mages Council's backup plan. They planned to get Torfidus here and to kill him. And snuff out his power from the world forever. That hadn't worked, and they've gone for their backup plan, which was, well, we can't defeat him, we'll just prevent him getting back out into the wider world. This plan, they knew that people would come after him. They couldn't risk a rise in dragon cultism power. They didn't want to, and they felt that the best thing would be to just tell a story that Torfidus was killed, that the High Mage Council who went to kill him were killed in the process, and to basically cover the whole thing up. Kind of like an Area 51 thing that not even the government know about. 400 years has passed, and they have been successful in stopping people getting to the heart of where Torfidus has been held inside this time bubble. It appears that through degradation of the labyrinth of rooms, however that has occurred, you're not sure, but there have been some time anomalies. And Wellborn has said to you that he felt some years ago, to him anyway, that there had been a switch, and the polarization of the area where Torfidus was, where time had been effectively stopped, had flipped, and the whole process had gone the other way, and he is worried that Torfidus is about to escape, and he is seeking your help. I believe you asked how you could help, and he said, we'll come to that. And then he started, I think he was about to tell you about Una. Yeah? I think his last words were, let me tell you about Una. Can you remember who Una was, Sotru?
Yes.
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 Oh.
We got too excited.
So, as he says that, you see and hear the door behind you that you came through open.
It.
God up, it might be Una.
How did Thotru react?
Did you just say that?
Yes.
Marvin, okay. Sotru's eyes blaze red, and he completely focuses all his attention on that door. And he's shuddering with rage. He's not raging.
He's simmering towards it.
Yeah.
He's not raging.
He's
Rage
by
the emotion.
Yeah,
Is he
yeah.
like a
Is he like
Yes.
that kettle that's just near
Yes,
that boiling
exactly,
point?
exactly.
But it's not quite boiling.
That's I couldn't describe it better.
Sound.
So it's
Kind
actually
of.
reached probably the noisiest bit
Well.
of the kettle boiling period.
Yes.
Are your
Before
eye-
it reaches-
Without actually boiling.
Is your eye colour lilac or pink?
It's red.
But red equals rage. It has to be less than red.
Well, it can still be red.
Orange. It's orange.
Like red is an emotion. It's not like actually I'm raging.
Oh, okay.
So he can have red for anger, but there are different variations of anger.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because
Well, you have
otherwise,
that.
the number of colours, my goodness, it would blow the DM's mind.
What little is left of it. So, Bao sees you, sees your stance, feels the nascent electricity from you, and stands in front of you ready. But through the door steps Raven.
That's so Raven.
Wait, what? You said when I looked through the door, I didn't see anybody, and I saw footprints in snow.
No,
And
and then we spoke, and you said, are you going to go back in the tomb? And you said yes. And you step through the door back into the tomb, into a desert-type area, and you see these guys standing in front of you.
Oh, so
in
you
the
skipped
middle.
past the bit where I said I want to go outside and check in the snow for any notes or signs anyone left.
No, we literally went through that. There weren't any.
Okay, good.
I mean, this was like 10 minutes ago.
So what do you do? What's the opposite of inspiration points? What's the opposite?
What's the
Is it
opposite?
noogies? Is that what it is?
Like you could have a debt of inspiration
Yeah.
points.
Right.
Like
Let
you have to pay off
listen,
your inspiration
I feel
point
like
debt.
listen.
Like, oh, you've got to pay 2 inspiration points, loser.
I feel like as in the popular Channel 4 and then latterly Channel 5 production Big Brother, you can all listen to the fucking episode and hear that Tom clearly didn't listen to me, but that's fine because I'm not one to make a big thing about it. or penalise someone for doing their best when I've clearly not paid any attention.
Do you know what?
To be fair, it is
For
true.
that-
She's doing her best.
For that,
That
I'll
is
give you
true.
my quarter inspiration point.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Robin.
She's got inspiration point there. Let's give her the shared one we
Oh,
had.
No,
Had a
she,
shared
just
inspiration point we never took.
Yeah.
no, just the quarter.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
You still
probably
owe 3 quarters.
sections.
So I'm gonna open the door and see a desert scene.
So okay, we'll run back through Raven's bit. So Raven, you're out in that outside area, the entrance area.
Yes.
You see that the run up is covered in snow.
I see footprints going towards and back.
Towards and back, which you recognise to be of an Eladrini type size.
Yeah. I quickly run out and I look where the fire was. I kick some snow about a bit. I look for any traces of like dead bodies or any notes that may have been left.
Yeah, no, there still aren't any.
Okay. All right. I go in. I open the door.
And oh my god!
Oh my God, you guys!
Oh,
So from our point of view, the door opened twice then.
yeah.
The door opened a
It
bit.
opened.
Says it closed. Oh
It
my god.
opened. It closed. Like, in fact, let me just work it out. Hang on a minute. No, yeah. So it opens and
It's gonna kill him doing this.
no, it opens and then instantly opens again. Right, because of the way the time works. So it opens and then it instantly opens again.
Wow, howdy ho! It's fun.
No, it takes
No, it's
ages.
the opposite.
Actually. Yeah, it takes ages. Right, 20 minutes later. So Wellborn's about to start talking.
Yes. Go doesn't get it.
Let me tell you about Una. The door opens. Wait, what the fuck? So yeah, the door opens. Would you go check the door?
Tonight, Una might be there.
No, I'd just still be focusing on the door.
What do we
and
do
make
about
a
the door,
movement.
Goris?
Well, let's go and see what happens.
T-Mountain, are you going to come with us?
Wellborn, I think you might be full of shit, but maybe we're accidentally working the wrong side of the situation.
Dear listeners, I'd really appreciate if many of you could write in your
You're not
droves
even here
to
at
this
the moment.
absolute fuck
You're
show.
not even here. She's being silenced.
So I stand atop my pigs,
Yes?
and I ride them back over the I now ride pigs.
Okie
You
dokie.
mixed them up. Ride over the door. I say, thank you, Ramto. Animal talk off. And I open the door.
As you turn it off, you hear Anne Petunia. Anne Petunia. No, that's not her voice. How do you get?
I open the door.
You open the door, and you see Raven standing in that outside area.
In the cave.
Yes.
Am I not kicking the snow around, searching the snow?
Yeah, she's acting like a spoilt teenager, kicking snow around,
Hello, Raven.
having a temper tantrum.
I go, oh my gosh, Garis! Garis, I thought you were dead! I thought you'd been taken hostage! Be careful! Una is completely fucking nutso!
Oh, yeah. Okay. Guys, confirmation, we have been working the wrong side of it.
I thought that was implied.
Garis, are you riding pigs?
It's a desert, so I'm not allowed to stand on the desert because I've got no water left. It's been a bad day.
I say, oh, you're back in the desert? And I kind of walk in towards the
Yeah, okay.
pig riding frog.
I ride the pig back over to my patch of grass. When I get within 15 feet, 30 feet, I jump off the pigs and land on my grass. Scuttle in.
That's
Do
uneven
you close
terrain,
the
though.
door?
I don't know, I don't think about it.
I would close the door.
I don't-
Farvin would be like, okay,
I don't close the door.
I've closed the door.
Okay.
I'm worried about the route now.
Sotaru, you're staring at the door still. Do you want me to
No.
open it?
Sotaru's calmed down now, and he goes back over to Wellborn to take a seat and get ready for his audiobook.
His audiobook.
He's very excited by this experience.
Right. Okay. So he says, "Oh, hello, my dear. Well, please, then, if you know, tell these gentlemen what you know about Una. Then save me the time."
Okay, long story short, Una was abandoned as a little girl in the forest by her mother, who turned out to be a vengeance-seeking, obsessive witch hunter, and seemed to be truly evil in that she took villagers she suspected of magic use and disposed of them.
She was a witch hunter.
The mother was a witch hunter.
The mother was a witch hunter.
But Una's a witch.
Una is a very bad witch whose only mission here is to seek out Torfridus, who, guess what, isn't even dead.
Yeah, we so knew that.
Oh, okay.
God.
I
We've
feel
known that for like ages.
This man literally just told us, to be fair.
Shut up, Gosh.
Una has decided, as vengeance for her mama being a witch hunter who was eventually punished for her crimes by being not only hung but also burned, now is seeking vengeance on Torfidus and wants to unimprison him so she can behead him. This is the man who killed the dragons out of the sky.
Wait, so Una's wants to kill Torfidus?
She wants to kill Torfidus to punish him, even though he's been imprisoned in eternal timelessness prison, and that already is a punishment.
Why does she want to punish him?
Because she's deeply fucked up socio-psychopath. She's taken hostage of nearly 400 villages, children, and livestock.
Wellborn, is this the case? She wants to behead Torfidus? Surely she should be on our side, then.
She said she wanted to behead him, fuck the neck, and put the eyes up her vagina.
That seems very gauche for Una. I mean, Una might be a psychopathic killer.
Oh, wait. That was an audio book I heard.
Okay. So, Wellborn, does Una want to behead Torfidus?
Don't borrow any more books off.
Sotru is nodding that this is sage advice.
Sotru read that one too.
No, he didn't.
His eyes went all kind of rainbow.
Stop describing Sotru's eyes.
I'm sorry, lover.
Lover. Right. So
Is this true, Wellborn?
Wellborn's sitting there just quite aghast at what's been going on. I mean, like,
Goris is desperately trying to get a long rest in.
Oh no, because you have your grass patch to sit in. You don't need to
I'm
stand on
fine.
pigs.
I'm not on the pig. I'm trying to get a long rest in.
Oh, because you were like straddling from
That's me
the sofa.
stretching out.
Oh, okay.
I'm relaxing.
so Wellborn puts his hand up.
Yes, I agree, Wellborn. I bloody agree.
Hello. Right. He says there are facets of that which are true.
So the eyeballs in the vagina and the neck fucking obviously is true.
Well, let me.
What I was trying to say is, Wellborn, she really does not like Torfidus.
No.
She's very twisted.
Una-
I think she's mentally incompetent.
Okay,
Yes.
we've logged that. So I've got one side of the story over here.
Yes.
Let's hear Wellborn's side of the story.
Una is indeed a little bit angry at Torfidus, and
Although
some might
Torfidus
say
might be her father.
Oh, okay, Raven. So what I'm going to be is webbing you in the mouth. Because not that I think your story's going to be worse than Wellborn's, but I know it is. Because Wellborn's is an amazing wizard that's hundreds of thousands of years, not hundreds of years, sorry Wellborn, hundreds of years old. Wellborn, could we slow her down so you could tell the story and she can't react?
I think Torfidus might be her
Wellborn?
her father. Wellborn, tell him. Torfidus may well be the
Bit of
wizard.
dilation over here!
right. And with that, he claps his hands, and there is just silence. There is nothing. There is not the wind moving through the rocks. There is nothing. There's just absolute silence.
Now look what you've done. You
And
fucked that,
if-
haven't you, mate? Because now even Wellborn can't talk.
No. no. Wellborn can talk. But he's cast aside. There's nothing. You can't hear. You know, the pigs were snuffling each other. You know,
Of course they were.
Like, and squiggling up next to.
Thanks
to
for
Goris.
listening. Let's wrap this up.
Squiggling up next to Goris, and you can't hear anything. There's-
Father silently clapping.
Right, so Wellborn says, Una was the daughter of one of our high mages, Oriana.
Girls,
Oriana's specialty, as it was, mine being time, hers was the detection of and control of, the detection of magics and the control of objects, people, things.
SS officer.
Silence.
I didn't hear anything.
That wasn't Raven, that was Mira.
Whilst helping us here in this labyrinth, and as well, he's got the like. Okay, listeners, Jules is sitting there with a pillow, ready to push over Mira's face. Okay, I've really lost my track here.
You're very bad DMing right now.
Oh, no, but it's very hard when I've got people sitting there like hitting each other.
Oh, that doesn't sound hard.
Me and Robin are sitting there very quietly, trying to be good boys.
Babylon gets his thing. Right, Una, daughter of Oriana. Oriana was one of our high mages, specialty in control of magics and detection of magics. Her role within our facility, our labyrinth, our plan to hold Torfus here was essentially as a checker. She would go out into the wider world, the regions around this area, and she would see if any of the power of Torfus, any of his dragon cultists, any of the people who were under his thrall had got out, had escaped our judgment, our imprisonment within this giant old dwarven city of Classendor. She would go out. Whilst Torfidus was imprisoned here, his magics would still, we believed, were still seeping out from the mountain range into the peoples down there. Oriana was tasked with detecting any rises in dragon cultism in the area, identifying those persons and bringing them to us under a spell. We would then bring them into the folds of what we have created here within this mountain, this prison. We would bring them here and incorporate them here to prevent them getting back into the wider world. The rooms that you see, the people that you have encountered, have all been from the wider world and the region of Class there. Oriana, however, became disillusioned, distressed, and obsessed with the fact that we hadn't dealt with Torfidus, and became rather too fastidious in her work. She was too efficient. She brought too many people that really hadn't even broached dragon cultism in its true form. And ultimately she paid the price by overstepping the mark and being lynched, being killed, being brought to justice by the people of Class. Unknown to us, she had mothered a daughter, Una, who you now see here. One of our other mages, a dragonborn called Rarkax, was the father, and he, unfortunately, was lost into the main chamber where Torfidus has been imprisoned. You must understand that whilst this imprisonment is moving at a slow pace, it is still moving. There are still losses being conducted on that battlefield. It's been 300 years and maybe a series of hours within that chamber, but the battle is still progressing. Who knows what state it is in now with what's been happening with the time fluctuations. There are many mages whose sole purpose inside that cavern is to maintain the time bubble, the prevention of the time moving forwards within that area, within that greater cavern of Classendor. Over the years, we have had to bolster the amount of people in there as losses have occurred, which is how I am left as the sole watcher of the rooms, preventing people gaining access. We lost Oriana, and Una became obsessed with finding out what happened to her father and bringing judgment to Torfidus. However, in her efforts to do that, she was actually working against us and actually detracting our attention from preventing him escaping his time jail, his time tomb that we have entombed him in this mountain. We have obstructed her as much as possible, but ultimately it appears that we have failed. Her most recent plan has been to take the villagers from the town of Class and feed them into this facility one at a time, creating multiple instances that we have had to deal with, and it's been too much for us. We don't have the power to create so many instances, and the rooms that we have created, to test people, to see their true worth, to see if we could trust them to help us in the imprisonment of Torfidus, has broken down. And we've been unable to watch everyone. We've been unable to maintain this facility. And it is failing and is on the brink of failing to contain Torfidus. Our time is limited now. We have very little options. Is this something you're willing to help us with? Here, me, imprison Torfidus. What is your...
I still don't
now
understand.
That you know,
Why would you let people wander in and out of a prison?
why would we let people wander in?
Why would you let everybody think there was a big old treasure in a tomb and hide the fact that one of the most dangerous criminals in the history of this land is alive in the center of it?
The idea was not to let them know that he's alive, that he's dead, that it's a tomb, an impenetrable tomb of great power.
There seems to be a lot of penetration in this tomb, and you can't handle that.
If you're looking for inspiration points for that, it's not happening.
I've got my own one.
So, Wellborn said that, and he's sitting there with his head in his hands, and he says, there are very few options to us, and none of them are attractive. We can aim to maintain the tomb. We can aim to use your power to get help from the wider world, to let them know that Torfidus was never killed, to let them know that your hands up.
Can I talk yet?
You don't hear anything, and you see him clap his hands, and
Raven, I'm
sound
very
comes
impressed
back.
you broke that spell.
I'm a magical creature.
I think his magic is failing, that's why. Well, Wellborn, why do you think... Why is Una doing this, though? Do you really understand that? What does she actually want?
She's very angry at the Torfidus man because she blames him for the mama being a piece of shit mama and dying. She's twisted. It's like a cycle of abuse. Her mama abused her by leaving her in the woods. Now she wants to punish somebody. That's why
We all agree that makes sense, though.
I agree.
It would seem that is her motivation. It would seem that is what she wants to do.
Her mama told her bad things about Torfidus from when she was little. You know, like in a movie, well, maybe like an audio book where the little child is brought up just to kill and assassinate somebody.
I know about books.
Yes.
All the other books I've yet to encounter in Helenscar.
That's just people speaking. So we'll say stories.
So I'll tell you what I see as our options. I feel we can admit to the wider world that Torfidus is imprisoned here and seek help, both from your universities and the high mages around. We could do that. We could, again, try and use some sort of power to maintain this facility, or we could accept that it is going to fail and try and confront him. It didn't work when we tried last time, but we could try and confront him.
You didn't have 3 first-year students before, though, did you?
Can I just confirm the prison is him trying to get out of all these rooms and figuring them out?
So you guys would know that Wellborn had showed you that vista of the centre of there. Mm-hmm. He says your colleagues can explain.
So there's
that
like
to you.
a battle in the middle of this place, actually going on right now. But Wellborn has slowed the time of the battle. So Torfidus thinks he's still in the battle fighting.
Well, just to interrupt, does Torfidus know what's happening to him?
No.
Idiot.
So he thinks he's in the battle
We don't
fighting. But actually, it's slowed down loads. So he's been there for a few hundred years.
Yeah, so we're AD 399, which would be 399 years after Torfidus was defeated, in inverted
So for
commas.
400 years, they've been maintaining him in real slow motion. But unfortunately, if he gets out and goes into fast motion, everybody fucks.
Well, we could see what happens when Una goes at him, and then whichever one survives, take them down.
She has become a very powerful woman.
Is she more powerful than you, Wellborn?
We've not come to blows, but she appears to be of an equal level.
We have 4 golems.
Is she more powerful than me, Wellborn?
And a bullywog.
I've got 2 pigs. War pigs.
You hear a snuffle, snuffle.
Exactly.
And one of the little trotters goes up near to his face. Sorry.
No,
Sotru, did you have
keep
your hand
going.
up?
No, keep finishing.
Keep finishing.
Keep finishing.
So, Wellborn says another option perhaps would be we can mothball this facility. We can focus solely on what is going on in that cavern, the main room of Klassendor. I can siphon, as I explained to you, every time action has a time reaction. If I slow it down here, I have to speed it up somewhere else. I suppose we can use that to our advantage. I could create a single room, a single vista for you, potentially me, although I fear I'm nearing the end of my power, the end of my life. We could put you in there and you could use that solely to train for this problem. It's a concept that we considered when we first created this facility, but chose not to go down. So I could create a room, and I could speed up time in there in comparison to how time is being slowed in the cavern where Torfidus is. You would be in there for years with the sole purpose of training for this fight with Torfidus. Your sole purpose to develop skills, magic, combat, water.
Imagine the amount of water I could create. Gallons.
And we could hone your skills and develop you there to a mage of similar power to myself. To, well, not Torfidus, but on a level that when we confronted him as a group of high mages, you potentially could be of a skill like that. At the moment, Una has flushed into this facility hundreds and hundreds of villagers who are stuck in different rooms, who are working their way through. Another option is that we could use them and we could take them into the final chamber and I suppose use them as a small army against Torfidus.
Operation Cannon Fodder.
Again,
Oh boy, you're kind of reaching here in the moment, aren't you?
not a particularly attractive option.
We met some of those villagers. They did not seem the best army.
Another option, perhaps.
Let's take a vote.
Let's take a vote on all the options once we've heard the last option.
Yes.
Another option, perhaps, would be if we can get these villagers together. There are magics that I know that could take their power, their essence, their life force, and transfer it, imbue it into someone else. It would be quicker, you would not lose any time.
Would they die?
They would become husks of themselves.
So,
But ultimately,
yes.
if Torfidus is allowed to escape this place, they are dead anyway.
Sorry, can't be doing that one, guys. Just as a heads up, Goros will not be killing all the villagers.
I vote we train in the fast room.
Well, hang on. So let's.
I vote we go and tell the wider world.
Okay. We should vote. We should discuss this, though. We shouldn't just vote. We should see what. We should try and work out what the best thing to do is for each other.
And Wellborn says, and these are just the options that we have posited over the last few 100 years.
So run away and tell
If
the
you
universe.
as first year students could come up with something better in like the next couple of minutes, that'd be great.
So tell the university.
Admit to the wider world that Torfidus is not dead, which comes
Yes.
with good and bad results.
Training montage.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball.
Lovely. Suck the villagers' souls out.
Or funnel all the
Yeah,
villagers.
or funnel the villagers in there. and just hope that 100 villagers
Maybe one would get through and stab him.
is enough of a distraction for the Gollum army to approach. Also, under the assumption that Torfidus won't look at a load of villagers and go, I'm going to take out the Gollums first. Or that wizard, or the frogman with a trident, not that guy with a hook.
So there is another option.
Just punch well.
What's the other option?
No, that was very exciting.
I'm excited. What's the other option?
We could funnel Una towards Torfidus and let them battle like Raven said earlier.
Is there a risk that Una fighting Torfidus could go wrong, wreck the field imprisoning him somehow?
If she were to have a lack of care around the people that she was in combat with on the way to him, you remember the vista I showed you? Torfidus was locked in battle with some of our highest mages at the centre of this this cavern. Around the edges were our mages controlling the time bubble.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to be disrupted, then yes, the time would stop, but I guess ultimately that's of no consequence because we will be living in real time in there anyway. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, but it would risk...
No.
If their bubble... relative to us, it would be the same if we were fighting Torfidus.
Yes.
But to the outside world, it would mean doom now rather than doom in thousands of years.
Yes. I cannot guarantee that we will be able to hold this time bubble for too much longer anyway. I don't know. I haven't been in...
But what does too much longer mean?
We'll have
It's
to
all
go
relative.
We'll have to go in and see.
I think, number one, you need to kick out everybody who's coming into all the rooms. Turn the rooms around so they leave.
On my own, I cannot do that. There is simply too much. There's too
But
too many people.
would that even help anything, though?
It would
Would it
allow me
help-
to. It would allow me to concentrate on maintaining the structure of the rooms, preventing people
If
getting
we want to
in.
maintain the status quo, we need to clear the rooms and clear Una out, and then the status quo can return, or we just hold the battle for as long as possible.
Is that right, Wellborn?
It could work, yes.
I think if we let Una and the bad wizard fight, at least there's one less and big bad out there, because either of them surviving is not good news.
Wellborn, what's Torfidus' nature? Do you think he could usurp Una's intentions? Do you
I
think
thi-
he could take her over?
A concept I hadn't considered. Do I think he could take her over? You mean win her to his side, to his cause?
Either way, either
Or
through...
possess her
Yes.
I mean, she really hates him.
Yes. This is Torfidus, though. Have you not
As-
read the history books? I spent
Torfidus-
my childhood reading about him.
Torfidus' specialty was control, mind control, specifically with dragons. It is possible that he could divert that to other people. What I would say is that the mental armor that our high-level mages had in the combats that we had with him over those many 100 years ago, we were able to still our minds. There were the rare cases where people would be taken under control. But this was a fleeting moment, and their control was usually used to usurp their defences and kill them, not maintain control over them. The control of a human mind is a complex spell to maintain. And when someone is focusing on controlling a dragon at the same time, this is a difficult
Has he
task.
got a dragon in there?
He
Oh,
looks at you
gosh.
and he says, perhaps we should go and have a look together. And with that, we will leave that episode there.
Bye!
Thanks for listening.
The Formal Gamer, podcast for those with exquisite taste.